So, so Aurora, how are you? Nice to see you.
Good morning. Nice to see you too, Michael.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been looking for someone to talk about sound and sound work and healing work, and vibrational work through sound for a while now, and I am so glad that your fellow peeps in the Michigan area connected me to you. So I was really happy with that because I think it's really important how powerful and how amazingly healing sound can be. And I think it's kind of like the new old medicine. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yes. It's ancient. Yeah.
Yeah.
So very, very old. But yeah, it's coming back around to being aware, like everybody's becoming aware of just how powerful it is and transformative can be in their lives.
Yeah. Yeah. I just find it so fascinating. And it's even like you think about it, just as simple as just throwing on some music. Like if you're having a crappy day and you just throw on some music and it just uplifts your spirit. Sometimes you can feel it you can get the goosebumps and it just takes you to that whole range of music. But then if you get sound is specifically for healing, which is a lot of stuff that you do too as well. And I always think that's just so fascinating. So how did you get involved with sound work?
It's something that, I feel like I could just say that it's been my whole life. When I look at the contrast of it, the approach that I really take sound healing at and from is expression, vocal expression. And because our sound, our voice, it's a healing tool that most of us all have access to. And growing up, it's not something that I was comfortable with or familiar with. I was very disconnected from my voice and sense of expression, and our sense of expression, our vibration, our very vibration, or energy is vibration, right? Vibration is sound. Like, so you could say that we are sound. And it's just, yeah, growing up, I was very disconnected from my sound. And who I was. So I've been on this journey of trying to find her, trying to find and come into alignment and like harmony with what my vibration is, what my unique expression is. And yeah, so it's been a journey through the contrast of not being connected, comfortable, and in harmony with who I was, led me on this journey of coming into exploring her and knowing her, developing a relationship with her. It's an exploration of sound.
Yeah. It's so fascinating when you talk about a person's voice. And I've heard that over and over again is about the person's voice and the frequency and the vibration of their voice. And it's something you said, it's like you say like your voice is like the medicine for the world is one of the quotes
Mm-hmm.
I saw. And I thought that was so profound.
Yeah. Yeah. Like yeah, sound is, it's my focus. Like you'll come to some of the sound healing, all the sound healing ceremonies that I offer, the one-on-one sessions that I offer my clients, sound and voice, vocal expression is a part of it. We all have our unique, signatures and levels of medicine that we bring into our unique craft. And when I'm working with sound, when I'm holding space energetically for other people, it always comes up. To have people connect to what's alive within them, to have them connect with the emotion that's surfacing within the session relative to things that they maybe have buried within and not acknowledged or allowed themselves to ever express and honor and feel. And so throughout the spaces that I hold space for, it's just having people connecting with their their energy, their emotion, and give voice to it, learning to sound through it in a way that's just really natural through tones, moans, yelling. I have people yell at times, or maybe it's more of a pleasurable sound that is connected to their, the more higher dimensional feel good energies. But usually it's about coming into our earthly and more human experiences that we've had. And those aren't always, there's a lot of challenging, painful experiences that's important, so healing to be able to allow ourselves the space to just acknowledge and feel some of those more challenging, painful things that we've all gone through, our stories, our traumas, and allow them to be liberated, allow them to be seen, allow them to be heard. And it's not for anybody else, it's for you, for your own soul's growth and like ability to step fully into your authentic expression and all of its beauty and all of its pain and all, like in all of what you've been through, like honoring, accepting, and acknowledging all, like loving all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. Now, let's talk about a little bit about the techniques too as well, because I want to let people know, you have a variety of different techniques that you use and different types of tools that you use too. And it's really interesting how you have those the bowls, the singing bowls, I guess. And now, do you work intuitively when you're doing it? Like you say, okay, this group needs a drum session, or this person needs more higher vibration with the singing bowls. Like, how do you distinguish what is necessary in a treatment or stuff like that, or in a retreat or something?
It is intuitive. It changes to like it's group sessions are always interesting because there's a theme between everybody that shows up, and so they've co-created the experience that they're going to receive just by like where their energy is and how they're showing up, what they're needing and requiring. And it's always a thing to experience and be a part of. But the singing bowls and drum are usually always used in what I do. The earth really comes through in the drumming, and the more angelic, higher dimensional energies and codes often come through with my singing bowls and the sounds that come through those. So I love using them both. They're just going to be done in like a different fashion with a different intention. Like the intention that I carry and set for all of my sessions and experiences is for people to really come into their authentic expression, to come home into connection with their divinity and their soul's truth and their soul's beauty, their love for themselves, love and connection for the earth and the heavens, and just all of life, remembering the sacred. And whatever degree people are requiring, like needing and requiring in order to integrate that, that's what comes through, through light language, through toning, and through the order in which I play my instruments.
Yeah.
So it's really individualized experience. Even if it's a group setting, it's going to be a unique, individualized experience for each person. And their voice is always included in it too. Like I play my instruments and I channel whatever is coming through at the time with the sound of my voice. And then throughout the experience, it'll also just be really encouraged and very apparent that they're needing to participate as well as the clients, as the people that are there in attendance receiving the transmission. It's like their soul is calling and like their body is ready to release the trauma that's holding the womb, or open the heart more. And there'll be different practices or sounds that will be encouraged people don't always have to give sound and explore that aspect if they're not comfortable with it. However, it's always encouraged, and there's always an opportunity where they'll be invited to do that. And always transformational, always just this like multidimensional, really high experience.
Yeah. It's so profound. I've heard so many good stories, when people go to like a session with somebody who does like either the singing bowls with the crystals there,
Yeah.
and then the drumming. I've talking to a few shamans, and they talk about the drumming aspect of a soul retrieval and doing that, and how primordial it is. And like you said, it's very earthy, it's very grounding, and it's something that just kind of rises up inside of us. And it's so fascinating when you have that drumming session and you can feel that. And then again, it's interesting, almost you get like an entrainment with your heartbeat is beating at the same time as the drummer or something like that. And you can feel that palpitations of your heart and the drum connecting. And it's just this weird feeling like they're beating, and you're just like, my heart's beating the same way. What's going on here? But again, it's that really earthy grounding thing. And then, like you said, you throw in the crystals. It's almost like you have, Mother Earth and the divine source, using those two things, connecting to the human body and healing it. And I think that's always so fascinating when you do that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is there particular crystal singing bowls that you use, or a certain frequency that you use during it? Because I know they have certain levels and certain frequencies or certain hertz that these crystal singing bowls have. Do you use any one specific, or you just kind of go with the flow?
Yeah, I have a set of 7 crystal singing bowls. Each of them are attuned to one of the major 7 chakra systems, and they're attuned to 432 hertz, which is the natural state of, it's the most natural and organic form of sound.
Okay.
That brings the body, mind, and spirit, like brings you back into harmony. It's the like perfect harmony.
Okay. Now, you're
Yeah.
saying that each bowl corresponds with the frequency of each chakra. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the root chakra from the crown chakra, each bowl. So through some of my sessions, I don't always use all of them. Some of them aren't required. That's kind of interesting too, because
so it'd be more of a guided something, like somebody, if you feel connected that their heart is not opening, you're not going to just you're going to work mainly on the heart and opening that particular chakra with that particular instrument to open up the heart and expression that way, right? Is that correct? What you would do?
we could, but no, not necessarily. Like it's
Okay.
like really intuitive. Like, yeah, you might be having some heart issues, but maybe there's a connection that you have to your root chakra.
Okay.
And so it's the root chakra that's needing the healing in order for you to feel safe in your heart and to open the heart. So I try not to limit it logically like that, and like try to figure it out and say like, oh, well, the heart needs healing, so I'm going to have to use my heart bowl. Like, no, like that's not always the case.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm always fascinated by people who do healing work, whether they kind of do partly logical, but also partly intuitive too. And I know a lot of people do it intuitively. It's just that they get a sense of what's going on. But that makes that makes perfect sense too. If you're basically, if there's something in the root that may be causing the blockage in the heart, which is logically sense too in some ways too, but also intuitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Now with the 432, now I've seen a lot of meditations now. You go on a lot of videos now, and they have all these crazy different hertz, 721, 1111, all these different frequencies. Does it really make a difference on what those frequencies is, or are they just putting those numbers on just for us to click on to them? Because I've always wondered about that.
I know. I mean, I think that I do find some harmonious healing benefits to listening to certain hertz for sure. However, I also believe that like our intention is everything. So if I'm playing my 432 hertz with the intention of the people receiving it to clear anxiety or to up level in abundance or to open their heart, then that's going to be received. Like, I don't need to have that specific hertz in order for them to receive the vibration of, you know, it's like if I'm playing my crystal bowls or singing or toning or even speaking, when you think about it, like, and it's like, it's the tone and the energy behind the sounds that are being created that give it the power.
Okay. Yeah. And
Yeah.
again, intention is so huge when it comes to healing work. That's what I've found out over the years and speaking to so many different healers. It's just that really having that intent out there. Now, you do a lot of different type of healing activations, and I just find they were very, very fascinating. I think my listeners are going to be really interested in a lot of stuff you do too. And one of the things I want to talk about, because I hear a lot about this, and it's kind of a buzz, is about light language. Now, I've heard people do light language, and the first time I heard it, I was just like going, "What the frick is this?" Because it sounds so weird. It almost sounds very childish. It's almost like a made up language to the and to the untrained ear. But then there's something that kind of resonates. It's like, okay, I know this sounds weird, but this is kind of cool, and I can feel something happening, but can't explain it. And that's the way the best way I can explain it, because I don't speak light language, but I find it so fascinating, and I've seen more and more people connecting to light language and doing light language. Seems to be this thing coming up, and maybe can you just touch on what it really is and how it kind of evolved?
Yeah, it's an ancient language. I and yeah, it's beyond like the logical linear mind too. It's like I don't always have to figure out what I'm saying. It's more of a transmission of energy. So it's like a form of communication, but it's more of like something that the heart can feel, that the body can receive. The cells can like reintegrate and activate to the frequencies or the codes that are coming through, and that communication and that form of communication. And like for me, I'm very connected, like it's my angelic roots, and then it's also like my star roots will come through, and some of the light language and some of the frequencies that come through my voice. But also like I have some Native American and like Lemurian and like old like past life connections that I've lived out upon the planet, that end up coming through. There's like this certain tone and language and frequency that's just really connected to, yeah, just different parts of myself. And so yeah, it's interesting to just, I mean, when I'm starting my massage sessions or energy work sessions, it doesn't always happen, but if the person that I'm working with is like needing and requiring an upgrade or a transmission of sound that's going to assist them on their journey, that I'm going to be guided. It's like I'm just automatically guided to start speaking it. It's like it just wants to come out. And
Yeah, I mean, I just find it so fascinating. I mean, I know a lot of people out there that think it's just kind of gibberish. And when you first hear it, like, no, for most people, the untrained person, and they hear it first, it's like, okay, this is a little bit crazy. But like I
yeah.
said, but it is kind of weird. But there's something that does resonate, and that's the thing that kind of always is like, okay, this sounds so familiar, even though I can't understand it. I really don't know what it really means, but I just find it so fascinating. So when you talk about transmissions, what is actually happening with like that? So when you're basically speaking the light language, your transmission, you're doing a transmission to that particular person. Now, do you actually get to know what that transmission is? Like, do your spirit guides or angels or your star people connect to you, go, okay, this is what the transmission or the message is? Or are you just kind of being like a vessel and says, okay, I'm here and I'm just going to just put a little light language in this body to help heal it, and they're on their merry way? Do you really worry about what the transmission is?
I do work both ways, actually. Sometimes I'm really clear about it comes through really clear what the person's working with, and it'll be more of well, yeah, I'll just have more clarity to have them focus on a specific theme in their life and work through it with me by connecting to certain feelings and memories and sounds. And other times I'll just be channeling light language myself, and they'll be the receivers. And yeah, it's just complete trust and surrender to channel exactly what people are needing and requiring.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
find it really fascinating. So you work as like what do you call a soul expression coach. So what do we just touch on that? What does that really entail?
Coming back into alignment with one's soul's essence and their expression, I feel like it's really important for people to just reestablish the connection to themselves. So I really create these safe and supportive containers that allow people to reconnect with who they are, reconnect with the good, the bad, the ugly, any traumas, any painful memories from the past that need to be looked at and explored and honored in a really safe and sacred space. Um, I I hold space for that to happen, and through that, through looking at an experience like that, they're able to more safely open up to their beauty and their truth in more of a loving, expanded way, and a really grounded way too.
Yeah, and
So
I think that's really important, is grounding that energy too as well. I always have a little concern when people don't actually do a lot of the work that they do in a grounded fashion, because it's nice to be in the woo woo, and I love being in the woo woo and being up there. But practical sense, we're still in this three-dimensional world, and we still got to basically live as these three-dimensional beings here. And it's okay for our heart to be there, but if your mind and body and else is not there, you need to kind of ground that in that practical, because that's what we need to do. From my understanding, is we need to bring the divinity back into this three-dimensional area, and I think that's really important to ground that type of love and that energy and that divine message into this three-dimensional world and this earth plane at this time.
yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
think
that's what we're doing. Yes.
that's why we have a podcast called the Metaphysical Mentor Podcast. We're trying to ground these beautiful energies in there and have amazing people like
Thank
yourself on too
you.
as well. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's really important. I think it's just a growing message that needs to be put out there. And I really commend you on helping people activate their voice, because honestly, I speak for a living. I was in sales for a long time, and I basically spoke on television, sold products. That's what I did. But I never found my true authentic voice. And it wasn't until I really started my podcast and kind of got out of my spiritual closet. And, friends of mine for years have been saying, okay, Mike, you need to kind of start expressing yourself. And I still, even to this day, have a hard time expressing my spiritual side to myself. Even though I kind of do it in a somewhat way through my podcast, I still struggle with finding my authentic voice.
Yeah, I think there's something that we all do.
Yeah.
It's, you know, yeah, it's a
Yeah.
process.
Yeah. Why
And
can't it be like
it
a real
takes
quick?
practice, like everything. Just, the more that we speak our truth and find ways to deliver it to other people and discern how to do it, without, because yeah, I think that there's a fear around like hurting people's feelings and then also like being judged, and whatever the reason is that we're like have some kind of fear around always expressing who we really are and what our authenticity is in the moment during, given the situation. Um, yeah, it's just important to look at the why and to kind of heal and work through those and face those, and
Yeah.
we just open up more and more and it becomes easier.
Yeah. I think there's there's a growing trend for people finding their voices and finding authentic voices in a very, very heart opening way, because people can find their
Yes.
voice, but I think a lot of times their voice goes, it's just basically spewing a lot of their anger and their upset, their victimization, everything else, but they don't express it in a healthy manner. And then refocusing that energy and moving it into the heart center and expressing from that way.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's liberating. It's liberating for us to be able to speak our truth, and the people that are receiving it as well. It's like there is a lesson and some growth when there's an exchange between two people always.
Yeah.
And when it's from the heart, Yeah, that's beautiful. And it's medicine, right? On some level, us being able to, and that's why I love helping people find their voice, because I feel like it is the medicine that this world needs. It's the medicine that they've been looking for, because it's like that freedom allows you to be free of any, diseases, any traumas, any wounds. And brings you back into connection.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true. I mean, and it's so nice when people actually, I really encourage people to always say that. And again, encourage them to explore that, explore themselves and explore those wounds. And I love a person who's willing to do that. I love a person who will go in there and go into their muck and be willing to look at it and love it and heal it and transmute it and become this beautiful thing. Because once you see that, we can all see the muck in each other because we've all been through different situations. But when you finally, and you look at somebody and you can see that glow, that kind of that, it's almost like their soul is glowing through their skin now. Like they actually get that glow and they've kind of transmuted that pain and that suffering into love, into light, into happiness, into joy. And now they're a vehicle for that expression. And they don't even have to do anything. It's just their vibration and their being just transmuting and helping others as they do that. And I just so love a person who does that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's the medicine.
Yeah. It is so medicine. Yeah. Now you do this thing too as well, like vocal activation. So what is a vocal activation? Is that
A vocal
basically
activation, it's about activating your authentic voice.
okay? So
And
how do you do that? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about how you would work that process. So let's say I'm your client. I come to see you, and I say, Aurora, I need a vocal activation. How do we go through that? Because I want people to kind of, I want people to really get to know what you do, so they can email you and say, okay, yeah, I need help with this. So okay,
yeah.
let's walk me through the process a bit.
Yeah, so we focus on your intention and your reason for wanting a vocal activation session. And usually it's just around having there be some fears around being seen for who people truly are, being in one's truth, being in one's expression. There is some kind of fear where they've just felt really small and limited in that, aspect of their lives. And so we look at that and talk about that. And then I take them into more of a meditative experience, into a shamanic state with visualization, breath work, and sound. And then I have them really start to connect in with some emotions that are occurring within their body, that are alive, that are ready to be expressed. It's usually the lower three chakras, that like just deep growls. I'll have them like really connect in with their emotional body, what's been stored in the body that's really created blockages from their expression. Because the vocal activation is expression. It's like an expression activation, really. And so, yeah, it's just really getting clear, like getting out of the mind and dropping into the body, dropping into the belly, the womb, the root chakra, and any blocked channels there that is just like waiting to be open, waiting to be acknowledged and seen and heard. And so I'll have them start just feeling into the fear, the frustration, whatever it is, and reclaiming their voice, reclaiming their power through some primal sounds. It's like getting primal with it, because it is so primal. It's like reconnecting with your body,
Yeah, and I
the
think there's a
physical
huge,
body.
yeah, I think there's a real huge separation that I think that's a lot of problems is that we're so separated from our body. Like we're just
Mhm.
living these two different worlds. They're like zombies. We don't really listening to what our bodies want or needs, and there's that separation. And the only time we listen to it is when we're sick, and we have disease. then the body, it's like that was it's a little too late, because the body kind of going, okay, you weren't paying attention to me like 3 years ago. Now you got to pay attention to me, because now we got the serious problem.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And so talking about primal sounds, you can think about when you stub your toe and you'll say, ow, that's a primal sound. It's like, it's like, what is it? It's a form of expression. It's a sound, but it's like just this really organic sound. You don't really think about it. It's like you're not in your mind. We're so often in our minds trying to figure things out. And it's just like, just getting into our bodies. We can really clear and move energy fast if we're just connected to our bodies through our voices. Like it's a way for us to, or movement. A movement's also a way of like expression as well, right? Like, so I really am connected to that concept as well. And that's something else that's incorporated into my sessions, is more of just connecting with the physical body by touch, by movement as well.
Yeah, you got to get that energy flowing. You got to get that body moving, and it's always amazing when you start doing the movement. You can feel where you're stuck in your body. Like if your hips are stiff and your legs are stiff, it's kind
Where's
of
the heaviness?
yeah.
Yes, the
So I'm moving
stiffness.
that. Yeah. Now, I mean, the great thing about you too, because you are a massage therapist too, as well, right? Your background's in massage as well. So
Yes.
you work with the body too, because you can really kind of see what's happening with the body and really understand what's happening with the individual. Yeah.
I've always been a really sensitive person, and yeah, I'm a very intuitive body worker.
Yeah, and I think that's when like you have the best body workers, because you just automatically know. Because I've got some like had the most craziest massages. Like, how did you know that's what she like? Automatically, it's just like it's like you have like the tuning forks or the dividing rods, and your hands kind of go. Boom. That's where it needs to be worked on. It always fascinated me how she could always find out where the aches and pains are in the body real quick, and says, but the vibrational medicine and the stuff like you do. Now, when you do your retreats too as well, are you finding that you're getting more men involved with sound work?
Yes. I mean, there's more women for sure in
Yeah.
attendance, but there are men as well that are coming and interested and open, and that's just great.
Yeah. I'm finding it, it's something, it's a little bit more simpler for guys to kind of say, okay, it's drums. They can get into drumming. Like, it's just kind of that primordial thoughts in a man's brain sometimes that they relate to a drumming sound so much. But then also too, is like, I find myself, and again, I'm not a typical guy, but I mean, when you get those crystal things, it's like when those singing bowls start going, it's like I'm off to some other land. I'm in another dimension. It
is, it's different.
It is really different. And I mean, I've been into one of those sessions where it was almost like a concert. I went to a session where this gentleman was playing all these different crystal singing bowls, and I had to leave because I knew I was going to be like out of my body, and I was feeling like it's so powerful. Like I was feeling dizzy, and it's like, oh my God, this is like the energy was way too strong for me, and I had to get out of there because it was so profound.
Yeah.
Do you find people that may have like a stronger reaction to the vocal activations?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah, it's different experience for everybody. And one experience could be really powerful and just life-changing, where you're, just seeing all sorts of stuff and having an out-of-body experience. Or in the next time it might be a little bit more simple, and you're just there relaxed and observing. It just depends on where you're at and what's needed and required at the time.
Yeah. It's just fascinating stuff. And now, have you done any research, or did you know anything about how sound vibrational therapy in conjunction with disease? Do you know much about that at all?
I mean, I know that sound really, it helps to open up pathways. It helps clear anything that's really blocking overall vitality and harmony between the mind and the body to occur. You know, it balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain, which allows us to really to open to that relaxed state. You know, it gets us out of our minds, our monkey minds that just keep going and don't allow our bodies to really relax. When our bodies are relaxed, you know, that's when healing and it's like that's our healthy natural state, is being relaxed. Just not everybody is used to being in that natural state.
Yeah.
You know, so absolutely.
Yeah.
It's great physically too. We focus a lot on the more spiritual aspects and components to sound healing, I think, is because so many people have such profound spiritual experiences.
Yeah.
But a lot of physical healing happens too with sound healing. It's both go hand in hand.
Yeah, I've heard, you know, I can't quote any specific research, but just that I know a lot of research in general. And I mean, even back to, you talk about the Atlanteans and the Egyptians and stuff like that use sound healing, you know, extensively to heal the bodies and stuff like that. And I know that they were looking at doing vibrational and sound healing, working on specific diseases, and they were looking at cancer was one of the things that they were looking at, and using the certain frequencies to affect the cells within the body, which I found was so fascinating. Instead of, you know, using chemotherapy and radiation, but using just actually toning sounds in a specific set of toning sounds throughout the body, around the body, to help facilitate the healing. It's almost like the vibration and the cancer cells. The cancer cell can't communicate because the vibration of the sound is affecting the cancer cell, because it can't communicate. And then if it can't communicate, it can't replicate, and it basically dies off. And I thought, geez,
Yeah,
that's a real cool concept. It's like, I, you got to find more research about that. I think that's really amazing.
it is.
Yeah.
It
Like,
is.
yeah. Like, do you have people that, you know, who are, you know, not seriously ill, but even if they're seriously ill, do you have people come to you and just want some sound healing?
Because of the focus of my work, not so much. No,
No.
I started off doing more general sound healing with um, the more physical healing focus with my work, being a massage therapist, and really just starting out on my sound healing exploration, where I would incorporate it in with one-on-one sessions a little bit more in that way. And, you know, the more that I did it, the more I opened up to my authenticity, because it really helps to do that. At least I'm, you know, because it's a theme that I've had in my life. And because of that, that's where the focus of my work began to go.
Okay.
To hold space for other people to find theirs. So there is kind of there is a focus around what comes through, and those that are drawn to me are usually requiring that type of focus and that type of intention.
Yeah. Now, I just got a quick question. Do you have like MP3s or CDs and stuff like that that people can buy and purchase and stuff like that?
I don't, thank you for asking, but yeah, eventually that is a goal of mine.
Yeah, I
Yes.
think that would be fantastic. You know, it'd be something, because not everybody can always access you all the time, and you are like a one
Mm-hmm.
woman show, right? Like for most of us, you know, most light workers and healers, you know, we can't be everywhere all the time, right? So
Yes.
yeah, it makes it difficult, even though we want to, you know, it makes it difficult. But I just think that with a combination of your background and you know, and your intent like that, I think that'd be so profound for people that they can, you know, listen to, and different things while they're traveling or they're doing something, you know, throughout the day, that they can listen to this vibrational healing and go from there. And you also do retreats too as well, right? Is that correct?
I do.
Yeah. Now,
Yes.
are the retreats open right now? I know things are, I mean, different between the two countries here. I mean, you're down in the US, there in Michigan. And we're up in here in Canada, still in lockdown in this area again. But yeah, are they open up in the States there for retreats?
Yes. Hmm. I don't have any scheduled like on the books at the moment. But I do welcome private group retreats. So and I am getting a lot of interest for that with everything that's kind of taking place. It's nice to have more of an intimate group of people that you know and that you're comfortable with, like a group of friends, close girlfriends, or family members that are wanting to do some deep dives together and work through some healing and explore opening up to their authenticity and reclaiming their power. So I'll hold space for a weekend, even a day retreat, even 1 day mini retreats are things that I've been offering here lately.
Yeah, that'd be that fantastic. It's like it's getting like an energetic vibrational massage and releasing your body, all the tension, stuff like that, and finding your primordial self. And the thing is, it's not a huge investment at the first, but if you wanted to do something later on and explore a little bit better, it's always just kind of like getting a taste. And you kind of say, "Ooh, I like this. This is very cool." And everybody's, again, reaction is going to be different, but it's amazing how profound sound can be and sound work can be. It can be absolutely deeply profound. And I think that's so
Mm,
fantastic.
mm. And I love giving people like exercises, tones that they can create to take home with them, because our voice is something that most of us have access to all the
Yeah.
time. And we can really balance and purify and cleanse and continue to work on opening and expanding our expression channel. And we can do that on our own with toning practices. So I like to send people home with those. And if I'm hosting a retreat, then they'll have exercises and practices to take home with them.
We got a little bit of homework when you do it, right? So you can do it on a
I mean,
daily
you kind
basis.
of the hope is that everybody's just going to want to, because they're going to feel so good during the retreat or during the workshop that I'm offering, that they're just going to want to keep doing it because it works. It does. It works. There's a reason we're not doing it just. I mean, it's fun to feel good. It's fun to like explore those spaces, I think. And so do the people that attend the things that I offer. So, yeah, it's always just transformational, super empowering, and yeah, people are just encouraged to continue with the practices, to continue to open up to their authentic embodiment.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. So that being said, if people were looking for you on the World Wide Web, Aurora, where can they find you?
I do have a website, auroraslight.info.
Okay.
So they
And
can visit me there. And then I also have a Facebook page, Aurora's Light.
okay. Instagram too
Yeah.
as well.
I do have Instagram, Aurora's Light 0.
All right.
Yeah.
So we'll have all that we'll have all that information in the description below. So if you're
Yeah.
looking to book a session and to get some profound healing work and just have fun exploring yourself and in a very safe, in a fun way to explore, aspects of yourself you're maybe not familiar with and do some serious healing. And yeah, I really hope that you guys start working on your healing and your path and your journey. I think it's so important. And that being said, Aurora, we're almost out of time.
Well, it's been so good to be on. Nice
Yeah.
talking to you.
Yes. And again, I thank you so much for being on the show. And I'm really excited that I was like so hoping to get a sound practitioner on here and to talk about this. And I think it's really important. So, and that being said, Aurora, I'm just going to close off the podcast here. So, this has been the Metaphysical Mentor podcast with Michael Philpott. Thank you so much for joining me, and goodbye for now.